Partner Tim Welsh, I'm Clay Mantic. Great to have you with us here tonight. You know, 4 months ago, Texas Tech was picked to finish 7th in the Big 12, and here they are with a chance to win it down the stretch. And what they did to the 14-time defending champs the other day was impressive.
Well, what they're doing to everybody in this conference over the last 3 weeks has been really remarkable. Their average margin of victory, 25 per game over the last 5, and that's playing against one of the toughest conferences in the country. 3 of those games on the road. What they're doing, they're shooting the ball tremendously well, pretty much from every position on the floor from the three-point line. Just bludgeons Kansas with their three-point shooting. And as always, premier defense.
Jarrett Culver has been leading the way offensively for Texas Tech all year. He's going to be a first-round pick in the NBA. Reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. He put up 26 against the Jayhawks.
It's almost unfair now because Culver, as others, are now shooting the ball from the three-point line. Not known as a three-point shooter, but over the last few games really has found his touch beyond the arc, which really makes him unguardable because he can get to the basket and they clear space for him because they have great spacing out of the perimeter. He can slash to the rim or shoot the ball from the outside.
Tom Eads, Kelly Self, Jeb Hartness, our officiating crew. We're underway. Texas Tech blowing out Oklahoma State 2 weeks ago in Stillwater by 28 points. We'll see what happens here tonight. We've got our first foul of the game. Davide Moretti drawing the foul on Cam McGriff, who was fired up at shoot-around today for Oklahoma State. He's going to have to play well. One of the juniors who is leading this short-handed Cowboys team.
Well, normally you would say you take a team that's coming down the stretch, got some big games, TCU. They have to go to Iowa State still with Texas Tech. You take a team like Oklahoma State that's been struggling, they buried them in Stillwater, that they might take a night off, but not this team. Chris Beard's team approaches every day the same. It does not matter who the opponent is.
And there's Culver. He's out to a fast start here tonight in Lubbock. The Oklahoma State lineup, they only have 7 scholarship players and 6 walk-ons. Talked about the juniors. McGriff, Waters, and DeZagua, they've got to play well to have any chance here tonight. 15 seconds on the shot clock. It'll stay on this end.
Well, Oklahoma State has shown flashes, and with the win over TCU in Stillwater, they took TCU right to the wire in Fort Worth, and Mike Boynton's team continues to focus and use every day to try to get better for the long term heading into next year.
Yorame with that left-handed hook shot in the lane, doesn't get it to go. 3 seniors in their starting 5 for Texas Tech. Mooney and Owens are the transfers. And here is Matt Mooney. He'll swing it around. Culver with plenty of time to shoot. He'll dump it inside, and Moretti lost the handle. It'll stay with Texas Tech with 6 on the shot clock. Chris Beard in his 3rd year, co-Big 12 Coach of the Year with Bill Self last year, and he's got his team poised to be a high seed for the NCAA tournament for the 2nd year in a row.
Possible National Coach of the Year as well, and certainly deserving. Picked 7th in this league, as you mentioned, Clay, numerous times, and they lost all that they lost a year ago, but the key additions, Mooney and Owens, as far as the grad seniors, and Culver just having that breakout year.
Mooney fakes the 3, moving into the lane. Out for Culver. He tries the 3, and there's the first one. They had 16 of those against Kansas to tie a school record. And they got their first of the night here tonight. In rhythm, the extra pass, the great spacing in the motion offense. Mooney dribble driving into the gap with his head up. Now DeZagua will try a 3, and he hits. That's really the only way Oklahoma State can stay in this one, you think?
Well, they need to have DeZagua and Waters hit 3s, and McGriff hits some as well, but they need a real solid game from Likely. Don't turn it over, and good defense on the perimeter.
DeZagua with 15 threes in the last 3 games, so it's a good sign for Oklahoma State. It's Tariq Owens hits for Texas Tech from the short corner.
Well, they certainly had to replace the nets after Saturday's game, the way they shot the ball. And early tonight, you can see they are in a big-time rhythm offensively.
DeZagua will hoist another 3. That one is long, and Moretti will get the backside rebound. three. Well defended. Didn't get it to go. Ane tracks it down on the baseline.
Oh, good job by Ane. He's moving his feet well. He's ever improving as a big man down low.
6'10" freshman from Overland Park, Kansas. Likely doesn't get that three. Second chance opportunity here. Waters will try the three, and he buries it. 37% as a team from outside the arc. That's best in the Big 12.
Likely didn't make a good decision with that early three, but Zagwa and Waters early look in rhythm.
And that's on Lindy Waters, his first. Mike Boynton has had a tough second year as head coach of the Cowboys. Just 37 years old. Of course, had to dismiss 4 players back in January, and that kind of turned everything upside down.
Yeah, they'll be back, and I think very quickly. They've done a nice job with the recruiting. They've still got a couple scholarships left, but Mike clearly proved he can coach at this level last season with some of their big wins.
He replaced his old boss, Brad Underwood, who left for Illinois. And so many people around this league think a lot of Mike Boynton. And that's going to be an offensive foul against the Cowboys. Ane picking up his first personal. He fouled out against Texas Tech in the last meeting 2 weeks ago.
Well, get used to seeing this tonight. This is what Texas Tech does. They get outside the restricted area, and they got the shot blockers flying up top and the charge takers from the bottom.
Mooney trying to track it down. Tariq Owens gets down on the floor, and that's going to be a jump ball. The possession arrow is going to give it to Oklahoma State. The defense for Texas Tech, holding teams to 37% shooting. That's what they've been hanging their hat on all year. But so many people have been talking about this team's offense and the resurgence of the offense in the last few weeks.
Well, they hang their hat on it, and there's no doubt about it, because the numbers say they are the best defensive team in America. That's what they can do, and now they're starting to score, and that's why they're winning every game by 25 points, because they're taking that lockdown defense and then having a great flow on the offensive end.
Curtis Jones in the game now for Oklahoma State. He's number 1 in the gray uniform. There's a Cowboys turnover, and Mooney will start it ahead for Texas Tech. Matt Mooney, the South Dakota transfer, his 3rd Division I stop. Gets it out to Moretti. Now Corprew driving the baseline. Nice move by Deshaun Corprew, the JUCO transfer from Virginia.
Now again, great ball movement, great player movement and spacing. Make the extra pass, then attack with some room to roam on the baseline.
3-point lead. Just about 5 minutes into this one. Jones left it short. He was kind of waiting for an opportunity to get clear for a free shot, and he waited too long.
Now you leave the floor against this defense, you better have an idea of where you're going with the ball.
Not that time for Corprew. And here come the Cowboys down 3.
It's 10 eyes on the basketball. Everybody shrinking to the ball with every pass.
Zagwa in and out. Loose ball, and it's going to go to Texas Tech. First media timeout. Texas Tech leading by 3. Chance to move into first place with K-State. We're going to talk about the win they had here on Saturday against the Jayhawks next.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Fans in Lubbock still giddy after the 91-62 thumping of Kansas here in Lubbock on Saturday. 16 threes, tying a school record. The worst Big 12 loss for a Bill Self-coached Kansas team. 5th straight win for Texas Tech, and like you talked about, Tim, all by an average of 25 points. And the three-point shooting the last 5 games, 47%.
Well, they're shooting the ball well, but they're also getting it within the context of their offense. And you see what they do. They're constantly moving. They don't crowd the floor one side or the other. They space it, and they quickly move the ball from side to side via the pass.
Brandon Francis in the game, gives it to Noam Odiase for the two-handed jam. And wow, has Odiase been playing well.
That's beautiful basketball music right there. The extra pass. Texas Tech, no wasted motion.
Odiase had 13 rebounds against Kansas. You could say he outplayed Dedrick Lawson in that game.
Certainly, he's been a rock, and Chris Beard talked to us about it today. He thinks he's kind of been undervalued, underrated as far as Big 12 players go, but not by Chris Beard. He understands how valuable Odiase is.
Corprew with some really good early minutes here in the first half for Chris Beard's team.
Boy, they're in a great rhythm, and I'm Mike Boynton. I might give that zone just a little bit of a look. He's played it over the last month or so. He's getting a little bit better at it, but they are very hard to defend in the man.
Curtis Jones back to DeZagua, and he swims in another 3. All 3 of Oklahoma State's baskets have been from outside the arc.
Well, Thomas DeZagua quietly has had a very good season, much improved from a year ago. You can see his body, he's stronger, he's more confident in his shots, he's not forcing, and he's in a better rhythm.
Jump shot doesn't go for Culver. Culver leads Texas Tech in points, rebounds, and assists. Just an all-star for these Red Raiders, and he'll trot it into the front court. Brandon Francis, the senior from the Dominican Republic, gives to Corprew. That's blocked by Yorane. Corprew got it back. He'll feed Odiase, who's doing some battling in there, and Corprew missed an easy one that time. Likely taking it all the way. Doesn't get the shot, but he'll draw the foul.
Well, that's what Likely does, and some nights he has some problems getting all the way to the rim because of the fact that people lay off him because he is not a shooter at all, and sometimes it's harder for Oklahoma State to run their offense when Likely's on the floor when he's just standing around because the defender guarding him kind of lays off, just sits in the paint and becomes a helper.
Likely having a really nice true freshman season. Yorane with the first two-point field goal for Oklahoma State.
That was a big-time move by NA, and he just no wasted motion. Great footwork right over the top with a soft touch.
Oh, and there's a dunk over the top of the defense by Tariq Owens. And one. The 6'10" St. John's transfer getting that student section riled up.
Well, when you shoot the ball like Texas Tech has been shooting it the last few games, you get this. You get a little bit of opening in the middle of the floor, a little 2-on-2 game with the shooter spacing out in the corners allows Owens to do that.
He has made a huge impact this year, as has the other transfer in the starting lineup, Matt Mooney, who fed him that pass. 3-point play for Owens. He's got 5 early. And the lead is 5 for Texas Tech.
Right now, they're just smelling blood, the Red Raiders. They are seeing Oklahoma State is struggling with this pressure.
Likely forced up a shot. Edwards in transition, his 3. Off the mark. Culver hustling, trying to get the rebound, but it's going to belong to Oklahoma State. Well, how many teams are going to get into the big dance from the Big 12? We're going to find out from my esteemed partner next with Tim's Take coming up. 11 Texas Tech leading Oklahoma State 16-11 back here in Lubbock alongside Tim Welsh. I'm Clay Matvick. Well, last year, the Big 12 got 7 teams in. That's the 5th time that the league has had that many teams. Could they get 8 this year?
Oh, absolutely. And really, the 2 teams in question right now coming down the stretch are Oklahoma and TCU. They have opportunity, and that's all you want. TCU's got Texas Tech, K-State, and they've got to go to Texas. So great opportunity there. They could take care of business, obviously, at home with 2 great quality wins over Texas Tech and K-State. And OU, they've got to go to K-State, but then they've got West Virginia and Kansas at home. And the ever-improving Mountaineers with an incredible win last night, 3 overtimes. How about Jordan McCabe? what he did.
One of the bright spots for West Virginia here down the stretch.
I'll give you one, Clay. He's the first player in college basketball since 2010.
Yeah.
That's 9 years to get 25 points, 25 points and 10 assists and 6 steals. Not bad.
Big night.
Oh, it's really improved play.
So the best percentage of conference teams to make the tournament, 78%. That was the Big East in 91. That's 7 of the 9 teams that were in the league at that time. The Big 12 can get 8 in. Obviously, that bests that. And again, the current projection, according to Joe Lenardi, our bracketologist, is 8 teams. 5 times the league has received 7 bids, including last year. But all of the times it's received 7 had been since 2010. So in the recent past, it's been a good run for the Big 12.
It's been a great run and just a fun league to be involved with and watch on a nightly basis. Tremendous coaches, and having been an assistant coach in the Big East back in '91, it's a lot friendlier league than the Big East was back then. You know, it's just the new East coach had a little edge, and
a lot of animosity.
Usually rolled over to the coaches. Not many of them liked. There was a lot of late dinners with each other back in those days.
Well, Yorane has to sit down. He just picked up his 2nd foul for Oklahoma State. And again, there's not a lot of bench depth for Mike Boynton. Just 7 scholarship players.
Oklahoma State going to the zone, just trying to get Texas Tech out of that real good motion offense rhythm.
Duncan DeMuth is in the game now for Ane. Moretti for 3, and he got it. Boy, Davide Moretti, the sophomore from Italy, has also been red hot from outside the arc during the winning streak.
Well, when Moretti, Mooney, Culver, and Francis shoot the ball, every one of them basically look like they're just going to hit nothing but net almost every time, and Dezagua answers.
That's his 3rd 3. Moretti now 14 for his last 23 from 3-point range. I mean, he has become one of the most improved players over the last 12 months in this league. Owens will take the jump shot from 2-point range, doesn't get it to go.
Well, this team's getting better, not only because they're shooting the ball so well, that's an obvious, but they're starting to learn each other. This is a new basketball team. They got a lot of new pieces, so they are getting better on the offensive end with chemistry on a daily basis.
Here's Lindy Waters trying to get Cam McGriff going. He feeds him inside, and McGriff will get to the line.
Well, Moretti's always shot the ball very well. He was known as a shooter when he came over from Italy a year ago, but he's starting to understand spacing and how to slide into those open spots, getting himself open without the ball and off the bounce as well.
Good shooter, good passer. He had a career-high 7 assists against Oklahoma State the last time these two got together. McGriff at the line. He gets the first, has another one coming.
Son of a coach, and his dad's a professional coach in Italy, and obviously had that ball in his hand at a young age, and his fundamentals are rock solid.
You talk to Davide Moretti, and he'll tell you a lot of the reason he has improved so fast is because what he was able to learn under Keenan Evans last year. And he's been really efficient here in his sophomore season.
Now, you saw it at the end of last year. He started to play a lot better in the last 10 games and in the NCAA tournament, and you saw his comfort level rise up. And he and Mooney are a new backcourt duo, and you can see their growth this month.
Speaking of Mooney, drives. Nice extra pass. There was room for Mooney to go to the rack, but he goes to Owens instead, and it pays dividends.
Well, that's what they're taught. Not only the unselfish play by Mooney, but when somebody puts the ball on the floor and you drive into a gap, to slide into an open area. Good read by Owens going to the rim.
And there's Owens with the steal. Pretty good defensive player, known mostly for blocking shots, but he makes the steal there, and Texas Tech can add to its lead. Culver left it short. Well defended by Likely. Waters hoists the 3, doesn't go.
Oklahoma State, they have to take advantage of that opportunity. They're going to try to push the ball up the floor and not have to run offense against that terrific half-court defense.
Cowboys now 4 of 9 from 3. And McGriff with another rebound for Oklahoma State. Here's Waters. He'll try another one. This time connects.
Oklahoma State's doing a good job pushing the pace off misses and getting the ball up the floor before Tech can set that defense.
This is how Oklahoma State can hang around. Hitting threes. They're 50% from outside the arc right now.
And by the way, very impressed with the shoot around this morning. A lot of energy, a lot of focus for a team that's been going in the wrong direction.
21-19, Texas Tech with the lead at home, but Oklahoma State with some good three-point shooting has been feisty here in the first half. This happened just a few seconds ago. This kid with a chance to win a trip to Vegas, and he got the half-court shot, Tim Welch.
Well, everyone makes everything here in Lubbock lately. Even the students throw them in from downtown.
Oh, this fan base has just been on a great ride the last couple of seasons with these Red Raiders. Yeah, you're right. Everything coming up aces for this team. And the fans, literally and figuratively, that guy's on his way to Vegas now after that shot.
There's no time for Vegas here in Lubbock. You've got to stay with this team probably through deep in March, maybe April in Minneapolis.
21-19, Texas Tech leading. There's Norris Odiase. Another great feed from the perimeter.
Everyone has their head up. The ball is moving hot, 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 and the players are moving even quicker.
Great pass from Brandon Francis, and Norris Odiase with his second basket inside.
Well, this is about the 5th time we've seen this. They move the ball quickly around the perimeter, and the bigs are doing a great job just sliding into the open gaps. This time against the zone, Odiase just finding that vacuum on the backside, and a little ball fake, fundamental 101, Texas Tech.
Brandon Francis played 1 year for Billy Donovan at Florida, then transferred. Lands at Texas Tech, and he's a real key part off a deep bench for Texas Tech. Jones floats it up with the right hand, doesn't get it to go.
That time, great defense by Norris Odiase on the smallest Jones, playing a little one-on-one defense on the guard on the outside, and that's what Texas Tech did on Saturday against Kansas. They switched 1 through 5. They have a lot of confidence that their bigs can guard guards, and their guards can guard bigs.
101st career start tonight for Norris Odiase. Francis off the heel, likely will jerk down the rebound. Here come the Cowboys trailing in this game. Likely missed the shot. One and done again are the Cowboys.
They do a great job. They don't let anybody get an angle by them. They just keep their man in front and then contest.
Odiase backing down his man. Nice right hand hook from Norris Odiase, the senior from Fort Worth.
Well, he's able to find that one-on-one coverage on the box because he's got the shooters out on the perimeter. They can't give the help. Odiase playing very good basketball the last couple games.
Now that's what Oklahoma State has done here in the first half. Stay in the game with the three-point shot. That time it's Jones.
Jones is another one of those good-looking younger players, another junior. We've got everybody back next year, so Oklahoma State just grinding out with this group and then adding some pieces next season.
Nice move by Mooney to go in and scoop it in with the right hand.
That's just bad defense by Isaac Likely, though. He just gave up on the play, and Mooney just put his head down, got right to the rim.
First field goal for Matt Mooney. Isaac Likely, they call him ice. He was too cold on that shot. Another good close look. Can't finish.
Odiase came over, and just his presence caused Likely to short arm that layup.
Texas Tech has led by as many as 8. Here's Corprew. 5 on the shot clock. Corprew lost it. Jones flicks it ahead to Likely. Running the floor, McGriff. I don't know. I think Oklahoma State should go back to the three-point shots. It's what's been working.
Yeah, Cam McGriff really hasn't been himself as of late. He's maybe wearing down a little bit. He might be a little bit banged up, but his presence certainly is big out there on the floor. But you could see he just didn't have that explosiveness to the rim.
McGriff only has 3 field goals in the last 3+ games, including this one. That foul unlikely. Well, tomorrow night, we got a good one between the Wolverines and the Huskers. We'll be talking about that here in just a sec. 27-22 as Francis goes to the line. Part of the college hoops doubleheader starting at 7 o'clock. The Wolverines ranked number 9 in the country now. They're in Lincoln looking to rebound from that loss to Michigan State. Take on Nebraska. Then USC and UCLA meeting in the Pac-12. That showdown coming up later that night. On the go, download the ESPN app. So who's going to get the UCLA job?
Well, I haven't called Chip Kelly recently. We're old friends from back in the New England days. We played a little golf together. He's out there, and I'm sure he'd like somebody to share that Hollywood. But I would go with 2 guys if I were choosing. Nate Oates, coach at Buffalo, and Eric Musselman from Nevada.
Chris Beard, Texas Tech head coach, has been mentioned in that conversation.
I really like Nate Oates. He's tremendous. And Eric Musselman clearly has got all the chops to succeed at UCLA. Let's hope Steve Alford resurfaces, because he's a heck of a basketball coach. And I don't know if he wants to, but if he does, somebody should scoop him up as well.
That's the second foul on Lindy Waters. He and Yorane both have 2. And a 1-on-1 opportunity here for Kyler Edwards. 4-star recruit who turned down Oklahoma State to come to Lubbock. Matt Mooney's going to come back in with Moretti. Francis and Corporus sit down for the Red Raiders. Win tonight for Texas Tech matches a program record of 11 Big 12 wins, which was set last year. They could win as many as 14 if they win out.
Well, as we talked about before, they've got a chance to win out and get a share of that championship, and that's what they're striving for. There's no doubt about it. They're not looking towards the NCAA tournament.
That 3 off the mark for Waters. Another good pass for Mooney. Culver floats it up and in.
The thing that you worry about as a coach sometimes, when you come out and make 16 for 29 from the 3 against one of the better teams in the country, that you're always going to change your offensive philosophy. Okay, now everybody can just come in and take 3s. Well, that's not the case. Texas Tech has stayed with their system tonight.
And they've got their biggest lead. It's now 11. McGriff from the baseline got it to go.
A good job posting up down low. And I think Oklahoma State, they have to mix and match. Keep shooting the 3s, but try to post up McGriff when they can down in the box.
That's his first field goal here tonight. So McGriff with 4. Mooney showing some patience. Shot clock at 5. Now he rises up for the 3. And McGriff gets the carom. 2:35 to go first half. 33-24 Texas Tech. And we got a foul and a timeout here on the floor with 2:32 to go before the break.
Motion offense, Clay, Matt Vick. Perpetual motion, spacing, sharing the ball, and have an NBA player on your team.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE FARM.
Another Sutton Bowl here tonight. Of course, the legend Eddie Sutton, his son Scott Sutton, Oklahoma State assistant, and Sean Sutton, the former Oklahoma State head coach, now Texas Tech assistant, matching wits here tonight.
Two of the nicer guys in the profession and smart guys. Obviously, they paid attention to Dad over the years and haven't had the opportunity to coach against Dad. Eddie, what a coach he is. And if I could vote, I'd put that man in the Hall of Fame yesterday.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Sean Sutton had a little run at Oklahoma State after his dad retired. Scott had a nice run at Oral Roberts in Tulsa. Was there for 18 years, and Sean was on his staff for a while too.
Tells you what a smart man Mike Boynton is.
Right.
To hire Scott, get him on his staff. He's got John Cooper over there as well, another ex-head coach who did a great job in Miami of Ohio. And really helps to have guys that have been there next to you.
The lead is 11 for Texas Tech with 2 minutes to go in the half. Moretti in the lane. And we get an offensive foul that goes against Texas Tech. Davide Moretti.
That's a good job, though. Oklahoma State's done a nice job of getting in front of Texas Tech. And for the most part, Texas Tech has avoided the charges because they do a great job of jump stopping. That time Moretti left the floor not knowing where to go.
First down, Moretti. Just the third turnover for Texas Tech here in the half. Likely lost his dribble, looking for help. Good defense by Mooney, and it leads to a turnover. 2-on-1 the other way. Culver got his own miss, tips it up 2-3 times, and it finally goes in with help from Owens.
And Mike Boynton, are you kidding me? You're just standing there watching this man dominate you. 1 against 3, 1 against 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 opportunities. Come on. Get up on the boards. Big hustle by Texas Tech.
4 rebounds for Culver, and then on the 5th offensive rebound, it's Owens with the putback.
Okay, you get a few good points for this. You get the energy points, you get the hustle points, you get the rebounding stats. Doesn't help your field goal percentage, but when you've got guys just attacking the rim, understanding that just you have to stay with the play. And that's why Mike Boynton called timeout. He was really upset with Isaac Likely. He stood and watched the play. He looked like LeBron James the other night playing defense in that game. He stood and watched.
Another missed 3 for Oklahoma State. McGriff with the rebound. Long 3 goes in for DeZagua. But how about Jared Culver, now 3 for 10 from the field after 4 misses.
Exactly. It doesn't help your percentages, but you get those stars next to your name for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th effort on the glass.
No doubt. And as humble as can be, Jared Culver, you ask his teammates, they just love his humility, even though he's going to be a star. He's already a star in the college ranks, soon in the NBA ranks. He doesn't get that 3 to go with 30 seconds left to play here in the first half.
Oklahoma State's played a feisty game. That's why Mike Boynton called that timeout. For the most part, this half, they've played tough. They went toe-to-toe with Texas Tech. It hasn't always been pretty, but they're playing with a lot of energy and toughness. The problem, though, for Oklahoma State, the last couple possessions, first you saw the strip by Mooney there. The turnover is one guy's dribbling. Texas Tech is up smothering the dribbler, and nobody is moving without the ball or screening away from the ball, so they have nowhere to pass, and that's led to the 2 turnovers.
Well, our Friday NBA doubleheader is the perfect way to tip off your weekend. Damian Lillard leads the Trailblazers against Kawhi and the Raptors at 8. Then Giannis and the Bucks have the NBA's best record. They take on LeBron and the Lakers at Staples Center at 10:30. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 on ESPN.
That's the game I was talking about when the Lakers played Memphis the other night.
Yeah.
LeBron had something stuck to his sneakers. He wasn't moving on defense.
Defense wasn't so good.
He was watching. He was doing a lot of watching.
So it's a 10-point lead for Texas Tech. They can add to it here. They've had double-digit halftime leads the last 5 games. And they've got a 5-game winning streak. Looking to add to it tonight. And with the win, they will tie K-State for first place in the Big 12 with 3 games to play in the regular season after tonight. That 3 doesn't go ahead of the buzzer. And it's going to belong to Oklahoma State. Nope, Texas Tech's got it with 2.1 seconds to go.
Again, Jarrett Culver just crashing the offensive boards coming from the other side of the floor to keep that ball alive.
Mooney looking to get it in. Francis left it short. And the lead is 10 at the half. 37-27 at the break. And they are just dominating in the paint. All 8 players who have played for the Red Raiders have scored. Kevin Connors, Dallin Cupp, and Sean Farnham in the studio. Lubbock, the lead is 10 for number 11 Texas Tech, going for win number 6 in a row and a share of first place in the Big 12. He's Tim Welsh. I'm Clay Matvick. And after that great win over Kansas here on Saturday, maybe Texas Tech would be tempted into falling asleep on this Oklahoma State team, but we didn't really see that in the first half.
This team's built to last, and defense travels, and it travels from emotional games like Saturday to now, which means you don't have a letdown on the defensive end when you're built like Texas Tech is. One thing is that they maybe shot too many threes early in the game. They're only 2 for 10. Then they settled into their motion offense, and it was lights out because they moved the ball, shared it, 8 assists, 3 turnovers. They made the extra pass against both the man and the zone. They clear out space in the middle of the court, and they move the ball and move the men.
Just dominating inside. Oklahoma State trying to hang around with the 3-point shot. That's their expertise. They lead the Big 12 in 3-point shooting, but they're one of the worst 2-point shooting teams in the country. And you can see Oklahoma State 2 of 13 with the 2-point shot. And Texas Tech 18 points in the paint. Thomas Dzagwa with the foul.
Well, Dzagwa's had a very good game. 4 for 6 from the 3 in the first half. And he and Mooney are going at it on the perimeter. He's getting up, trying to deny Mooney, doing a good job. He has to give him a little bit more room, though. At that time, got caught on the hand check.
Here's Culver. He had 9 in the first half for the Red Raiders. Fade away. It's the front iron. And Yorame, who got in some foul trouble in the first half early and spent a lot of the first half on the bench, was able to get the rebound. And if they can get him going inside, that might change the fortunes of Oklahoma State a little bit. He missed his presence without a doubt. Isaac Likely with 5 to shoot. McGriff, he is just struggling from the field.
Nothing there, though. Texas Tech right up underneath Oklahoma State on the catch.
Moretti hitting his first jumper of the second half. He's got 5.
Boy, they just sprint back on defense, identify, and get in the stance.
Moretti averaging 11 points per game in his sophomore season. He'll be one of the key contributors coming back next year for Chris Beard. Odiasi with the easy steal for Texas Tech. And there's Culver going right to the 10. He's in double figures.
Well, right out of the gate, Mike Boynton smells it, and he wants to talk about it because energy for Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, not ready.
Timeout here in Lubbock. The lead swells to 14. Texas Tech doing a good job sharing the ball here tonight.
But what they do in their offense, in their fast break offense, their secondary transition is they will push it up and run to spots. You see here, Tariq Owens just kind of running up the sideline. You think aimlessly? No. He stops, sets a ball screen quickly on the perimeter, and Cam McGriff is not up to help. Easy bucket.
Tariq Owens, Matt Mooney. A couple of grad transfers. Mooney from South Dakota, Tariq Owens from St. John's.
Texas Tech will do this on occasion, excuse me, Clay, as they will come out of a timeout, kind of surprise trap you out of the zone. Good recognition, though, by Oklahoma State to space the court, reverse it, and find Dzagwa.
That's his 5th three. Thomas Dzagwa single-handedly keeping Oklahoma State around in this game. He's got 15 points for the Cowboys. All of his points from 3. Mooney's 2 doesn't go, and Dzagwa will clear the rebound for the Pokes.
Mooney trying to answer a little mano-a-mano with Dzagwa.
Here's another 3 attempt. Curtis Jones from the corner.
Good timeout by Mike Boynton. He saw his team wasn't ready coming out of that locker room. They kind of jogged back on defense in a couple possessions. He lit them up in that timeout, and they've answered.
And now a foul on Jones. He didn't like it. That's the first on Jones.
Sorry, Clay. Mike Boynton saying, wait a minute now. Texas Tech is up under our shirts on defense, and we're trying to play the same way, and we're getting called for a little touch on the arm. Good job by Tom Eads to pass on that one. That could have been another foul on Curtis Jones.
Shot clock inside of 10. Francis got it. Well, Texas Tech needed that to stop that mini Oklahoma State run.
Well, they took their time. They didn't rush the offense, and Oklahoma State's picking up the pressure. Texas Tech's going to put the ball on the floor, try to beat him off the bounce.
Lindy Waters will float it inside to Ane, and Owens commits the foul from behind. First on Tariq Owens. Tariq Owens has 64 blocks on the season. Tony Battie has the single season record at Texas Tech with 71. So you'd think that Owens before the end of the year could wrap that up. Corprew comes in for Culver. Waters trying to get it in. Able to do it. Jones makes the catch and then is fouled. Fans don't like the call. They thought that that should have been a jump ball.
Now, that's a good call by Kelly Self. Already had his arms wrapped right around Jones in the corner. See, put some pressure. They struggled to get it in. Almost steps out of bounds, but he pops him on the elbow.
Second foul on Davide Moretti. Lindy Waters jump shot strong, and Owens battling Ane for the rebound, and Owens had position. So Ane just picked up his 3rd foul.
Now, another great defensive possession by Texas Tech. I mean, Waters was trying to make something happen, but every pass, every bounce, and the shot all under duress.
Again, Ane fouled out in the game against Texas Tech 2 weeks ago, and there were still 9 minutes to go. And now he's in foul trouble here with 16 and a half to play. And another Oklahoma State foul. And that's Jones again. That's his 2nd as he picks up 2 quickly here in the last couple minutes.
Never fails, though, does it, Clay? 12 fouls in the first half. And
right.
We're going the wrong way this half.
Well, it's on you because you said something about it at halftime. Fourth team foul on Oklahoma State.
Trust me, the calls have all been correct. Both teams are just pushing up the pressure a little bit too hard on the dribbler.
Francis, the lob. Owens gets his own miss. It was a little mistiming, but Owens makes up for it.
They just stay with it. That 2nd and 3rd effort by Texas Tech.
11 now for Tariq Owens. Waters for 3. And another 1 and done for the Cowboys. Haven't been a lot of second chance opportunities for the Cowboys. They struggle on the offensive end when it comes to rebounding. Just 2 tonight. And that's out of bounds with 17 to shoot. We got a timeout on the floor. And the lead is 45-33 Texas Tech. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Colin Baxter, a 23-year-old history major here at Texas Tech. On October 19th, 2016, he was awoken during the night here on campus. When he opened his eyes, everything was dark. And he went to the hospital. It was soon discovered that he had a cancerous brain tumor. The tumor was removed a few days later, but he never regained his sight. And Texas Tech head coach Chris Beard heard Colin's story and became one of his biggest supporters. Coach helped him get a seeing eye dog and encouraged him to finish school, which he will do in May. The team made him their manager, and he's at all the practices and games, and he sits courtside between the radio announcers, Jeff Haxton and Chris Level, so he knows what's going on, and he's quite an inspiration for this team.
What a joy to meet. I mean, you talk to him and you hear his story and it just breaks your heart, but you meet him and he's like, has this great personality. It's not a woe is me. And I can tell you this, if that happened to me, I wouldn't have that attitude that he has. And credit Chris and the staff. And you got a couch even in their office for his dog Chase, who's you can't see. He's under the table, he's with him at all times. And just a great story. And just hats off to him and the whole staff and program for embracing everything that he's doing, and for him hanging in there, because obviously it's something that you wouldn't wish on anybody in life.
And he really has Chris Beard's ear too. I mean, he will talk to the coach about, you know, what he thinks should be going on the floor. And I asked him what he thinks is going to happen here tonight with Oklahoma State. He said, hey, you know, I'm not so sure about this game. You know, this could be a trap game for our team, and they need to come out and play well, and so far they have. Very impressive, though, that you come to practice, a shoot around, or a day before the game practice, and he is the first person here in the building, so he's ready early and very focused and helpful to have around, because obviously, you know, it's a tough situation, but when you have the players see this situation, the players sometimes can feel entitled, but you can be humbled very quickly when you hear that story. There's an official review looking at a potential elbow on that screen. Tom Eads, Kelly Self, Jeb Hartness are officiating crew, and here's another look. He's trying to clear a little space driving to the rim. He just extends his arm, and now it wasn't on the screen, it was on the drive by Likely against Edwards. Well, Edwards kind of was trailing the play. I don't think Likely even saw him. I believe they're just going to call it a basketball play. So, yeah, just a basketball play, and we'll steam on here with 15:47 to go. Oklahoma State hanging around. I mean, this is the biggest lead for Texas Tech, but you know, 14 points is manageable here in the second half. If the threes can keep falling for the Cowboys, here's another chance. Doesn't go. Waters had it blocked, but putting it back is Jones underneath. Well, good effort and toughness by Waters and Jones on that possession. Usually that's been reserved for Texas Tech tonight, but Oklahoma State answering with a little toughness of their own. 8 points for Jones. And McGriff with the steal and the foul on Owens. Right now, Oklahoma State's doing a better job. They kind of extended their defense in the second half. They're playing that old up the line, on the line, meaning pressuring the basketball and denying everywhere else. And that's the way Mike Boynton wants to play, the old Brad Underwood style that they brought to Oklahoma State a couple years ago. And they just haven't had the bodies to do it. But when you play Texas Tech, you can't just let them play freely on offense in their motion. Cowboys can get it back to single digits. Zagwa trying to feed it past to McGriff, and Moretti picks up his third foul of the night. And there's still a lot of game left, so now Davide Moretti in foul trouble for the Red Raiders. Well, I like what Oklahoma State's done this half offensively. They've kind of spaced the floor. They're still looking for their threes, but they're understanding now that Texas Tech's going to take away the threes, and they're trying to post up their guards down low. Waters got it and one. A chance for a three-point play for Lindy Waters.
Well, again, Mike Boynton doing a nice job of kind of changing his philosophy on offense. They're dribble driving and taking what Texas Tech is giving them, and both Waters and likely and Dezagua with good size at the guard spot, trying to go down low, go on the baseline, post up, and draw the foul.
And now the nation's best free throw shooter will go to the line. Lindy Waters, 93% on the year. He's automatic. And the lead is just 9 now for Texas Tech.
Waters and Dezagua have improved throughout the season. They just used to be just catch and shoot players, but now they're putting it on the floor much better.
Francis passes out of a double team. It's Edwards on the near wing, misses the three. McGriff grabs the rebound strong. And Oklahoma State goes back to work on this here. Curtis Jones attacks, spins, blocked by Owens. And then Culver was fouled by Dezagua going for the ball.
And that's where Jones, when he dribble drives into the lane, he has to understand Texas Tech is going to swarm the basketball when it comes inside the lane, especially with the shot blocker present. He has to have his head up and look for three-point shooters out on the perimeter.
Dezagua now with 3 personals. Yorane playing with 3 for Oklahoma State. First block of the night for Tariq Owens. 65th on the year. Edwards lobbing it into Owens. Nice adjustment to get a shot off on the baseline as he was in pretty deep.
Kind of faded away, though. He didn't really gather himself. He could have just gathered himself and went back into Likely and over the top.
And now Owens with another block. Likely got it back. Everybody getting a touch. Dezagua misses the 3, and then there's a foul underneath. That's going to go against Brandon Francis, his second.
Oklahoma State is doing a much better job of answering the pressure by taking the ball into the lane, but they have to be ready to make a pass. You see, you have 5 defenders in the neighborhood. He's got to look to make that quick pass to the perimeter.
Just 4 points for McGriff. He averages 13. Dezagua stays hot. Another 3. That's his 6th tonight.
Ooh, a little smile, too. A little confidence for the Cowboys.
6-point game. Culver trying to make something happen. We'll get to the foul line. 13-10 to go, in Oklahoma State keeping it interesting.
Well, Dezagua doing a nice job of moving without the ball, sliding into the open area, and putting the ball on the deck. The former high school point guard showing a little handle.
That foul was on McGriff. That's his 3rd, too. So 3 Cowboys with 3 fouls. .21 threes in the last 4 games for Thomas Dezagua.
Ever improving, and I spoke to his trainer in Florida, a guy who works him out, ex-college basketball coach David Zimmerman, and he said, listen, he can play the point. He played a lot of point in high school. He can handle the basketball. He can do things off the bounce. He's just not a catch and shoot guy.
13 minutes to go. 8-point lead. Dezagua, good pass to Likely. And Dezagua, like you said, can run the point, too.
On point. Dezagua with the delivery on the back door.
Tech hasn't hit a field goal in over 3.5 minutes. Corporal jump shot. Needed that.
Ooh, that's a big-time move because that was excellent defense by Oklahoma State. Off the bounce, they gave the help early, but he created space with the floater on the baseline.
McGriff comes up empty. Corporal driving. And that's a blocking foul on the baseline against Jones. And he's got 3.
Well, the issues of playing this aggressive man-to-man defense are now coming to a little bit of a head for Oklahoma State. They don't have any depth, and now they're getting in some foul trouble playing that aggressive man-to-man.
1-and-1 situation now for Texas Tech. That's the 8th team foul on Oklahoma State. Win tonight, be number 11 for Texas Tech. It'd be their 6th in a row. It'd be their 23rd win overall on the season. A team that was picked 7th in the Big 12 in the preseason poll. I'm getting a challenge here from Oklahoma State. Another miss from McGriff. Odiase with the rebound. Culver very patient on this 3-point attempt. Off the heel. And out of bounds to Oklahoma State. Well, Colin Baxter, the inspiring story, the manager for Texas Tech. His Red Raiders still leading by 9.
Thomas DeZagua has been outstanding so far tonight for Oklahoma State, and he is doing it all, not only from the perimeter, but handling the ball. 6 of 8 from the 3, spotting up. Really a moving target tonight, doing a good job of just finding that open slot on the top, on the wing, in the corner. He is knocking down shots, 4 assists as well, and he is single-handedly keeping the Cowboys in this thing.
Yeah, he's got 18 points on 6 of 8 shooting from 3, 93 3-pointers made. That leads the Big 12. I mean, this is how Oklahoma State beat TCU earlier this week. 11 threes. Their only win in the month of February, and they've got 10 threes here tonight. Likely is fouled and won. Out of the timeout, a chance at another 3-point play, but this is the old-fashioned way for the Cowboys.
Well, Yorne on the bench, Cam McGriff playing the 5. He's just kind of being a facilitator out there, banging around, setting some screens. Obviously, he looks banged up. He's not moving like he normally does, and so they're not going through him to get points, but his presence out there opens up other things. That they go 4 round 1, and he's just such a smart, tough player, and likely the ever-improving Isaac Likely making things happen.
Well, we got a ball game, Tim. A lot of time left for Texas Tech to right the ship, but they have let Oklahoma State get back in this game.
Well, and they back in the game. Oklahoma State going to the zone to protect their big man.
Mooney flips it up. Doesn't get it to go. DeZagua with the rebound.
Kind of a forced possession that time. Texas Tech really never got organized against that zone.
McGriff comes up short, and Odiase will clear it. It's been a tough night again for Cam McGriff. He is 1 for 7 from the floor.
A pretty good look for him. It looked like he elevated pretty strong and quickly from the perimeter, just a little short.
Cam McGriff just 4 field goals in the last 4 games. Moretti into the lane. Odiase muscles it in. Norris Odiase, 2 more.
A little overhelp on the inside by Ane. Just kind of ran up on Moretti, leaving Odiase wide open.
Culver with the steal and the foul on Waters. Coming back down the floor.
Well, one thing you cannot do is overhelp against Texas Tech, because the thing that they do is they space the floor, and once you help, they slide into that open area.
And Norris Odiase against Kansas was absolutely terrific. Tied a career high with 13 rebounds, and you know he's still playing, Tim, with a heavy heart. Lost 2 cousins in a car accident on the morning of February 15th. They were driving to get here to Lubbock to come watch the basketball game the next night, and Odiase was able to start that game against Baylor. Did not play particularly well in that game, but really, you take away that game, and Odiase's been outstanding here in the last month or so.
Well, fifth-year senior, he's been through it all, and went to the tournament with Tubby Smith, and now this will be back-to-back with Chris Beard. So it's lean on your veterans for leadership, toughness, and certainly everybody here really appreciates his efforts.
So the officials went to the monitor again, and this is what they were looking at, Tim.
More reviews, more annoyance, and everybody's still upset with the officials. I mean, just, you made the call. You're standing right there. I mean, he didn't make a play on the ball. It could have been a flagrant, but what I don't understand is the official standing right there. He had a great angle on the play. You make the call, and either make it or don't.
So now a flagrant foul on Lindy Waters for tugging the jersey. He did not tug the jersey. We play on. The crowd getting behind this Texas Tech defense. Likely lost control in the lane, but he gets bailed out. 10 seconds to shoot for Oklahoma State.
I don't know. Do you like all the replays?
No.
You enthralled with them?
No, I'm not. In any sport.
Exactly. More replays, more annoyance, and still everybody's still mad about the calls anyway.
Desagua, little flip to Ane, and Ane is fouled by Edwards. And Likely is limping around a little bit for Oklahoma State, favoring that right leg.
Well, he's asked to do a lot, and clearly he's come of age with that added responsibility this year as a freshman, playing major minutes. Not only how to run, learning how to run a team and being a true point guard, but defensively tonight he's had his hands, had to be active all the time against this moving motion offense.
You know, the future is bright for Mike Boynton's team. He's got a top 20 recruiting class for 2019, plus everybody back next year. Not just Likely, but you got McGriff, Waters, Desagua, all coming back. And he's got 2 spots left to fill for that recruiting class. So who knows, it might even be a top 10 recruiting class when it's all said and done.
And you know, the thing is, as of today, in today's world, and you look here, you don't have to look far. You look right at Texas Tech. You look at Matt Mooney and Tariq Owens, what they've given this team, and you can find some quality grad transfers that fit in nicely, and that's the key. It's really a 50-50 proposition how they're going to fit in.
You know, the Oklahoma State fans will tell you, hey, we could be next year's Iowa State. Iowa State finished last in this league a year ago, and they've had a terrific year this year. Maybe Oklahoma State could do that next season. Trying to pull the upset here tonight in Lubbock. They've made it interesting.
Well, it's a great bounce back game so far for Oklahoma State after what happened against K-State over the weekend, but they've answered with a lot of toughness, and it remains to be seen if they've got the gas in the tank to finish this off with a comeback.
McGriff with the air ball, and the crowd letting him hear it. Mooney for 3. Odiase the rebound. Francis will try a 3. And now a foul.
It's just hard hat, lunch pail work by Odiase on the interior, and he's being blocked out in there, but he's just using angles and his experience to get to the glass.
4th on Ane. And Oklahoma State has several players in foul trouble now. 2 shots here for Odiase.
Like Boynton saying, wait a minute now. Ane had the inside position, and you called him for the foul, but it looked like he kind of drove Odiase off his spot.
CNA with 4, Jones with 3, Desagua with 3 fouls, and McGriff with 3 for the Cowboys. Odiase missed them both. That's not his strong suit, just 64% at the line this year. Lead is 7 for number 11 Texas Tech. Oklahoma State will give it back. Moving screen. And that's 5 on Ane. He's done. That really hurts the Cowboys.
Trying to set that little ball screen, and he just doesn't get that position set, and that's a good call. You've got to be set. He kind of extended his leg out on the perimeter, and that's just an inexperienced foul, and he's learned some lessons tonight playing against the veterans, Odiase and Owens, but he'll get there. Ane's shown a lot of promise this year as a freshman.
So the Cowboys are going to go real small here. They do have Duncan DeMuth on the bench, the 6'8" freshman who usually backs up Ane, but Boynton's going to go with the smaller lineup. And another blocking foul. And that's on Lindy Waters, and that's his fourth. As the fouls continue to accrue for Oklahoma State, we step aside in a 54-47 game in Lubbock, under 8 to play. Now his team's taking on the defending national champs tonight, Villanova, and he has had quite a year. Look at these games against Kansas State, Buffalo, and Creighton.
Not only that, but just his consistency from the season. 44% from the three. He gets to the free throw line. He's not just a catch and shoot guy. 7 free throws a game, 4 assists, and just a real good defensive player for Marquette. And Marquette, number 10 in the country. They just had an unbelievable year, and they have a 2-game lead in the Big East right now.
Well, the fans here in Lubbock getting a little uneasy as Texas Tech hasn't scored in almost 2.5 minutes. Francis missed his first free throw and missed them both. And it's going to go to Oklahoma State. 5 straight misses at the free throw line for Texas Tech.
Texas Tech kind of just lulled themselves into this route, not really getting a lot of movement, and now they've got to get down and dirty because Oklahoma State's going to space the floor. They're trying to drive it a little bit, and if they get their driving kicks going, they can get some open threes.
McGriff, well, they call a foul. Brandon Francis picking up his third. So likely he's going to go to the line for the 1-and-1.
Well, again, Mike Boynton's done a good job making adjustments with his offense and understanding that Texas Tech's taking away the three-point line. So they're trying to space the court, drive it, or post up.
There's Mike Boynton. Hoping his team has what it takes to come back and pull off a huge upset on the road in the Big 12 tonight.
Well, likely he's done a good job as well. He doesn't force the issue, but he finds a way with those long arms, the ability to go with either hand off the bounce to get to the rim. He's not a shooter, but a guy that can really make things happen off the bounce.
Five-point game. Culver got it. Boy, that's a big basket for Texas Tech.
Now that was a set play. Run for Culver. A little pitch to the wing and a back screen over the top. That's where he's so dangerous. You have to close out on him tight. He goes by off the bounce.
McGriff. New.
Good job by Owens. Just that length and that rim protection threw McGriff off.
Culver now. 15 points. He's been in double figures every game this season except one. And Moretti is fouled hard by Dezagua, and that's going to be his fourth. It'll be 2 shots for Davide Moretti. 10th foul against Oklahoma State. So Texas Tech in the bonus the rest of the way.
Well, Texas Tech in the last couple possessions doing a better job of moving the ball with the pass. They kind of got a little dribble happy in the 3 or 4 minutes there. And Chris Beard went back to the well. He said, wait a minute now, this is an equal opportunity. We're going to go to Culver and Culver and Culver, and that opened up Moretti.
going to get a substitution here for Oklahoma State. And this is where things have gotten to this season for the Cowboys. They've been using a lot of walk-ons. This is Dean Mitchell, a walk-on freshman from Jefferson, Texas. And there are 6 walk-ons on this Cowboys roster now. Since mid-January, they've had to make some adjustments because of dismissals. Crunch time of the Big 12 game, they're relying on walk-ons. And they're relying on Curtis Jones and his outside shooting. That's his 3rd 3 tonight.
Well, I'll give Mike Boynton all the credit in the world to put a walk-on in a Big 12 game against the number 11 team in the country in crunch time. But they are playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Backdoor pass to Owens is deflected. Kept alive by Corver with 9 to shoot. Moretti a long way from the hoop. Goes around Jones. And it's stripped by Waters. It's tied up on the floor. And I saw Tom Eads saying shot clock violation. Jeb Hartner saying that it's Oklahoma State ball, but as Kelly Self comes in, and I think he broke the tie, it's going to go back to Oklahoma State.
Well, I think before they called the ball being tied up, that the shot clock did expire. It's a good call.
Just the 5th turnover tonight for the Red Raiders. Waters! Huge jump shot for the Cowboys.
Again, Clay, that length of Lindy Waters, 6'6" at the guard spot, shooting over the top.
And the lead is cut to 4. Texas Tech led by 14 here in the second half at one point. Culver misses badly. And Waters tracks it down.
No, that's not what Chris Beard wanted. Kind of a loose possession there. Just stalled on one side of the floor. They didn't get much movement with the ball or the players.
We'll stay with Oklahoma State. You can see Chris Beard on the sideline getting anxious as this crowd in United Supermarkets Arena is getting anxious too.
Jarrett Culver just kind of gave up on the player. He lost his balance, but Waters doing a good job of just squaring up on the defense and taking his man off the bounce into the lane.
Mike Boynton's Cowboys with 6 top 25 wins last year. They have one in them here last game of February in 2019. Well, tomorrow night ESPN delivers another college hoops doubleheader as conference races continue to heat up. Nebraska and number 9 Michigan Thursday night 7 Eastern. Then USC and UCLA meeting in a Pac-12 showdown. It's also available on the ESPN app. So Texas Tech, they have seen their lead cut to 4. This is the first time that Oklahoma State's been within 4 points since the 7:37 mark of the first half.
Well, again, Mike Boynton, you can't give him enough credit. And his players, obviously, they came in, they had a spirited shoot around earlier today. They came out of the locker room at halftime and looked like they were maybe going to mail it in. He called a quick timeout. He lit them up, and he got them back in this game with good energy. And then they made some adjustments with their offense. Instead of just settling for the 3, understanding that Texas Tech is getting out on the perimeter and taking away the 3, they've now gone in off the bounce. They've gone into the post, and they have their guards trying to drive into the lane and shoot over the top.
Lindy Waters, 11 points tonight. He's hit some big shots here in the second half.
Well, over half his shots on the season have come from the 3, but tonight he has mixed up his game very, very well, ever improving. He and Dzagwa used to be just catch and shoot guys. Now they've learned how to put the ball on the floor, create for themselves, and Waters at 6'6" is a tough out because he can shoot right over the top.
Here's the real hot hand, Thomas Dzagwa. 18 points, 6 threes. He drives, floats up a 2, and banks it in.
Who says Waters and Desagua are just three-point shooters? They can put the ball on the deck and make things happen.
They call him Dizzy. And Thomas Desagua now with 20 points. He had back-to-back 23-point games this month against Texas and TCU. He's on his way. And now another turnover.
Again, the ball is getting stuck on one side of the floor. Very un-Texas Tech-like. They're not getting into their motion with their movement.
Now the Cowboys could take the lead with a 3. Waters. Crowd wanted to travel. Desagua keeps it. And he traveled.
I saw the first travel.
The second one, I'm not so
Waters.
sure.
I didn't see the second one, but probably didn't matter as Desagua missed a shot anyway. But Waters slipped and clearly walked right in front of Kelly Self here. This is a travel in any sport,
yeah,
especially basketball.
And that also looked like a travel. So here's the right call is made. Now an offensive foul on Jarrett Culver. Second on Culver. Oklahoma State has pulled to within 2 with under 4 to go in Lubbock. Upset watch for the Red Raiders.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Papa John's, large Philly cheesesteak pizza, just $12.
Exciting night here in Lubbock. It has turned into a game late. Texas Tech, number 11 in the country, leading Oklahoma State by just 2. This is an amazing turn of events because the lead was 14 at one point here in the second half, Tim.
Clearly coming off a 29-point win over Kansas on Saturday. Looked like they were ready to play out of the gate. But by the way, Oklahoma State was ready to play. They had a good game plan. They played with a lot of toughness. And Texas Tech has really struggled on offense, especially in the second half. 1 assist on their 7 field goals. For the game, 2 for 15 from the 3.
Texas Tech just a half game behind K-State. Can move into a tie for first with a win tonight. And they've got 3.5 to go against this scrappy Cowboys bunch. 3 goes down for the walk-on, Dean Mitchell.
That's when you know the night might be going your way. Great play by McGriff. Drew the extra defender. Head up, found the man on the perimeter.
He wasn't even on the roster a month ago. And he just put Oklahoma State ahead for the first time tonight.
Well, all of his intramural pals back in Stillwater are thumping their chests saying, whoa, what is that? That's confidence. Not to just make it, but to take it, even in this type of game. And for Mike Boyne to put him in.
It's not like he's never played basketball before, as Moretti gets him both district MVP last year in high school, so he can play a little bit.
He can play, but he's never played in a game like this.
Oh, no. Oh, an over and back call, and now the crowd climbing all over the Cowboys. That's the 10th OSU turnover.
Desagua, just a mental error here. He didn't know where he was on the floor, and steps right over the line from the front court to the back court. But they're playing with a lot of feistiness and confidence. They just get a stop here and they'll be fine. And Texas Tech's got to get some more movement. They're really trying to play too much off the dribble.
Edwards, they need this 3. Doesn't happen.
Again, Texas Tech has stopped moving without the basketball. They're trying to do everything off the bounce, and Oklahoma State has really defended well.
Waters for 2.
Pretty good luck. I think Mike Boynton minded that. Now, I think Chris Beard's going to let Culver go to work.
Moretti. Yes!
a good call by Chris Beard. Putting the ball in Culver's hands, making him the point guard. He drew the double team, had his head up, found the wide open Moretti in the corner on the skip pass.
Second three for Moretti. The lead is back to 4. McGriff, and that's another over and back.
Terrific defense at crunch time. This is what Texas Tech does. That's why they are where they are. On nights where their offense stalls a little bit, their defense still is solid. And they're trying to go inside out, Oklahoma State, through McGriff, and it's the right idea, just wrong execution.
Nice backdoor cut. Mooney to Culver. He bangs it off the rim.
Oh, great help, though, on the back door. Oklahoma State just swarmed Culver when he got to the rim. Mooney's got to be aware of Desagua. He's been quiet for the last few minutes, so he has that ability to sneak into that open slot on the outside. There's Waters again.
Well, this crowd has really helped Texas Tech on the defensive end the last 5 or 6 trips for Oklahoma State. That's why they're 15-1 at home this year. Culver bobbled it, recovered, and scored.
Well, again, they're going to their moneymaker down the stretch. And Oklahoma State, they've got to let Desagua at least touch the ball. Find a way, even on a dribble handoff, to give him a touch. He has not touched the ball the last 2 possessions.
Falling away. Lindy Waters hits the tough 3.
Tough is not even the correct word. That is unbelievable.
Impossible.
These guys, Desagua and Waters, have basically not come out of this game. They are just dragging. But Waters found a way to get enough on that to drain it. They are exhausted.
The lead is 3 for Texas Tech with 43 seconds to go. And Beard was just struggling to get the officials' attention to get that timeout called. And you see Chris Beard, he wants that timeout. And didn't get it. He was on the floor. And Tom Eads didn't grant him a timeout.
Again, Waters and Desagua played 38-plus minutes tonight, and they are just dragging, but finding that last bit of something to finish this game off. And Oklahoma State playing walk-ons. Chris wanted the timeout, clearly. He's talking to Tom Eads about it. But listen, if the officials, it's not their job to look over to the bench. It's the coach has to make sure that he gets in their vision somehow if he wants the timeout. Basically, run on the floor if you want.
Right. Well, he darn near did. Oklahoma State looking for a big stop. Here's Culver. That's why he's going to be a first-round pick.
The mismatch out of the timeout, Curtis Jones had no chance there. He just backed up. And Culver, impossible to guard.
Oklahoma State calls a timeout. They're out of timeouts.
He just squares him up. He says, I'm taking you. You back up. I'm going to shoot it. Or I'm going to create a little bounce, a little step, a little space. That's why he's so tough. Those long arms and that quick elevation and soft touch.
15 now for Culver. Well, tonight, Sports Center with Stan and Neil following Pelicans, Lakers, and after the buzzer, reactions from LeBron. Let's an inside look at Russell Westbrook and how conflict drives him. And Paul Pierce on James Harden's back-to-back MVP chances. Sports Center at 1 a.m. on ESPN. speaking of conflict, did we expect this kind of conflict in the Big 12 tonight against an undermanned Oklahoma State team and Texas Tech?
Everybody talks about those 8 teams that are going to get in, yes, but don't neglect this team. They've proven it by beating TCU. West Virginia last night, the triple overtime win, and played Baylor very tough over the weekend in Waco.
Well, that was my fault. I said that was Oklahoma State calling that last timeout. This is their final timeout as Mike Boynton uses the last one he had available. Texas Tech also down to 1. So last year, Texas Tech was a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, makes a run to the Elite 8, finishes with 27 wins. They get ousted by Villanova, the eventual national champions. Best season in program history, and they could be a 3 seed or higher this year.
And that's, you see the thing on the bottom, their worst loss is at Baylor, which is not a bad loss. Obviously, Baylor has had a great season as well. And the thing, again, just like a year ago, Texas Tech, they hang their hat on every night playing rock solid defensively. And Oklahoma State has answered tonight in the second half a little bit offensively, but Texas Tech went through a long period of the second half where they didn't run good offense, but again, down the stretch, made good plays defensively.
Can they close it out? A win tonight, and they're in first place with Kansas State. Waters for 3. Yes! Another difficult three-point shot.
Over the top with that length and that confidence.
And Moretti will go back to the line for Texas Tech in a 2-point game.
Well, for the longest time, Waters just took the ball into the lane and shot over the top, took the mid-range shots. But this time over Moretti. Moretti gets caught flat-footed at 6'3". He's given up 3 inches, but then he doesn't leave his feet on the contest, and he just goes straight up. He's afraid to foul. And Waters had that clear vision to the rim.
Davide Moretti 5 for 5 at the foul line now. Trying to make this a 2-possession game. Huge make. 2-possession game, 69-65. Waters, can he do it again? He does! With the defense right in his face.
Well, they took away the driving lanes, and Waters created just enough space in that corner.
Now Moretti fouled again in the corner with 8.5 left. Boy, Lindy Waters has been amazing here in the second half.
You might want to send a double at him or something. He has been unbelievable. Again, Mooney does not jump up in the air, and obviously, you know, they don't want to foul the shooter, but they've got to do a better job of contesting Waters. They're flat-footed, and Waters is making them pay. And you know, on that possession, Oklahoma State did not have to foul Moretti. Moretti kind of tucked the ball into his chest. If Oklahoma State had just tied him up, the arrow is pointing towards their possession. If they can score again and set up a quick press, instead of fouling, they can look to get a tie-up, and they'll get the ball back.
Chris Beard calling his final timeout. Davide Moretti has 1 foul shot remaining. He'll try to make it a 3-point game. So some things to consider. If, you know, would Texas Tech foul Oklahoma State, put him on the line?
Well, Texas Tech, Chris Beard will tell you this, that he adjusts from game to game. He has different game plans within a game. So obviously he's got to look at what Oklahoma State has done here, especially in the last couple possessions with Waters. And does he really want to give that up? And I think you've got to foul right away. You can't worry about the time. You've got to trust your team that you're going to be able to rebound the ball. Oklahoma State's dreadfully small. They're not going to get an offensive rebound on a free throw. You have to trust your team to block out. But also, if they push the ball up the court and shoot a quick 3, it's a tough situation, because if they get the offensive rebound, that's when your defense is scrambled, and then you can allow the open 3.
That's assuming Moretti can make the foul shot, which is a pretty good assumption. He's 92% at the line on the year. And here tonight, he's a perfect 7 for 7 at the stripe.
And again, Mike Boyd's got to tell his team, if we do score, they throw it in, we're going to be aggressive, look the foul, but try to get the tie-up to get the ball back.
Leaders 3 for Texas Tech. Full court pressure here by the Red Raiders. Oklahoma State's going to keep it. Jeb Hartness making the call.
He's making the call. He made the call for Oklahoma State, but Chris Beard was standing right there. He looks pretty confident that this play will be overturned. They're going to look at it. It looked like, to me, like right off Waters' hands, he had big-time trouble getting open. And did he touch the basketball? That'll have to be the determining factor. And Jeb Hartness was right there, but I'm not sure he had the correct angle to make that call. And Oklahoma State really gambled. They had nobody else up the court. And Texas Tech did a great job. They took the defender, they took Owens off the ball, so they had Culver in front of Waters and Owens behind him, and he really had a problem getting open. And the offensive player inbounding the ball, I believe it was McGriff, should have done a better job. He's got to run the baseline there to get a better angle on that pass. See, he just stands still. If he runs closer to Waters up on the baseline, he'll have a better angle to complete that pass.
Did Waters touch it? What do you think, Tim?
Well, I saw somebody else talk about this earlier today. I think we're going to have all these replays. Hopefully in the NCAA tournament, they have better monitors to look at, or bigger monitors, and I think they probably will be. It's awful hard to tell from this angle, which means that Oklahoma State will probably get it back. If it's not conclusive, they can't overturn it. That's obvious. And it looks like Culver touched it, but does Waters touch it after that? I'm not sure he did.
I don't know that he did. Yeah, I think that Jeb Hartness made the right call on the court. And that means if the call is upheld, Oklahoma State has a chance here to tie it up with 7.1 seconds to go. Oklahoma State with just 7 scholarship players and just 1 win in the month of February, trying to upset number 11 Texas Tech on the road tonight.
Here's a better angle there, and it's still hard to see because Culver blocks the view, and that's kind of the view that Jeb had, and I'm not sure you're going to get a better angle than that.
And the evidence has to be indisputable to overturn it. And I don't know that it's there. I don't know that it's obvious.
So now Mike Boynton has to change gears a little bit. He's got to draw up a play on the sideline 3/4 court. So you have a few different options. I would think that he's going to either try to get Waters on the run or throw deep, maybe get DeZagua starting on the opposite side of the floor and running him to the ball side to try to get a quick 3, maybe off a screen from McGriff, although McGriff probably will be your inbounder. So DeZagua may have to do something on his own down the other end.
Jeb Hartness came over to our table and wanted to know if we had a better angle than what they have over there, and we don't.
Well, certain games there's more cameras in the buildings, and obviously there's no camera angle that we've seen that can show that side where Culver doesn't block the view of the ball.
You know, from that angle there, I don't think that Waters touched it. And that was the call on the court.
I don't see any way they could change the call.
And I think this is going to stay Oklahoma State ball.
And this is an A-plus officiating crew tonight. That's why they're taking a long look at it. They know how important this call is. They want to make sure they get it right, and it's frustrating to them that they don't have a great angle on it. And they said to us, it's very difficult to tell, which means most likely Oklahoma State's going to get the ball back.
They're going to stay with the call on the floor. Oklahoma State ball with 7.1 to go, and now the Texas Tech defense.
Well, you can't argue that.
One of the best in the country is going to try to lock down here for the final seconds.
Definitely have to be aware of the inbounder getting a back screen. Texas Tech has to be aware of Waters throwing it into McGriff, and then a quick pitch back to Waters.
Lindy Waters, great dribbling, 3 to tie. Yes! He did it again! And we're going to overtime in Lubbock. A new career high for Lindy Waters, his 6th 3 of the game, and it sends it to overtime.
They had every opportunity in the world to foul. Looks like Culver tried to foul, but you've got to get right into the dribbler's body. You cannot just reach for the basketball, and that's what Texas Tech did. A major, major mistake defensively by Texas Tech, and you cannot let the hottest man in the building have that look, and that's what Texas Tech did. And now they're going to have to work 5 more minutes.
And they're looking to see if there should be any time left on the clock. And, you know, the ball goes through the hoop and there's 1/10 of a second left. I think that's going to go to overtime.
Well, what can you say about Oklahoma State? That they're at this point. Coming off a blowout over the weekend against K-State. Undermanned, playing walk-on. And, you know, very surprised that Texas Tech let Waters. They should have fouled him immediately on the dribble handoff. They should have jumped out, got into his way, and put him right on the free throw line.
So 5 minutes up on the board. We're going to overtime. Tied at 71.
And it looked like Texas Tech was in